John Cena retains his title at Backlash 2025. Hey guys, it's Mike from the 716 Sports Entertainment, and we are here to talk about Backlash, which happened last night in St. Louis, Missouri, and we had a pretty interesting card, I would say. Five matches in total, and the main event saw John Cena versus Randy Orton, and John Cena did retain his title through some nefarious means at the end there. But we're here to break it all down. I got Mr. Sean O'Neill to my left here, and we're gonna talk about it and break it all down for you. As always, guys, thank you so much for checking out all of our content. We really appreciate it. Hit that like and sub button if you guys really like what we're doing. We really appreciate it. You know, as we've mentioned numerous times, we're gonna do a giveaway when we get to 100 subs. So stick around. We're getting pretty close to that. But yeah, Sean. So the main event saw John Cena defeat Randy Orton to retain his title. There were some nefarious means at the end of that. But what did you think of the show overall? What did you think of Cena retaining and how the night went?
Overall, the show was pretty good. Problem was this was a relatively predictable PLE. There wasn't, I think there was only one match that kind of went against what you and I both predicted. And got to give a shout out to our co-host T, who's not here, taking the lead on the points predictions.
He
Gotta
is
gotta
up.
give him credit though. I
He
mean,
is up one. He is up one on you and up two on me.
I don't want him feeling bad though that he's losing the entire year. So gotta give him at least a little bit, a little time in the lead. It's okay. At Saturday Night Main Event, I'll take my top spot back.
There you go.
Um, but yeah, I think well, that was the only issue I think I had coming into this PLE was that it was going to be relatively predictable. They did throw a couple surprises in, which was nice, and we'll talk about the main event, I'm sure, once we get to the towards the end of the show, our episode here. But it was the match itself, I thoroughly enjoyed, even though it had, like I said, I think the predictability was the worst thing about the show.
Yeah. I mean, I would agree. I think all the matches, like even the main event, I think like every single match was a good match. And like, we'll talk about the Gunther Pat McAfee one too. I think that was what it needed to be, but we'll
Yep.
get into it. So the show formally kicked off with the Fatal Four Way for the United States Championship match between Jacob Fatu, LA Knight, Drew McIntyre, and Damian Priest. And this match was awesome.
Yeah.
Great way to get the crowd going. And I got to give a special shout out to the crowd in St. Louis. You guys actually did a good job for a US crowd. Like, because, it's been kind of a running joke lately with US crowds not doing as well as the foreign crowds, but I thought the St. Louis crowd was excellent. They were hot from start to finish and they never really let up throughout like the entire show. They cheered all of the spots that they were supposed to and it just they didn't take away from the show by like being quiet. They definitely added to the show, which is important for a wrestling crowd, I think.
Yep.
Um, but overall, yeah, this match was hot. I loved there were a couple of like big spots in this match. The when Damian Priest hit Drew McIntyre with that South of Heaven outside of the ring through that table, and he looked like he kind of missed and like bumped his head a little bit on the back there. But I did hear reports that he's okay, just like a little banged up, so that's good. But yeah, overall, just that this match was just lights out. And obviously, the ending of the match, I'll let you spoil the ending of the match and talk about the surprise debut that we saw at the end of this match.
So we saw the debut of Jeff Cobb after Solo Sikoa interfered, took out Jacob, which was kind of weird, and then went and took out LA Knight with help of the mystery man from the crowd, who ended up being Jeff Cobb, formerly of New Japan and Lucha Underground, where he was Matanza. We saw him a couple times in AEW. Guy who's probably one of the hottest free agents currently. He is a powerhouse, little guy, like height wise, but he's probably as wide shoulder wise as he is tall.
Hmm.
And for being a guy that, like, when you guys see him in the ring, he does like standing moonsaults, and he is just for his size, it's incredible to see. And I think that pairing him with the Samoans is probably a good thing. A little disappointed that it was LA Knight they took out to get the pin there. I was really hoping that it would be Damian Priest who ate the pin. Um, Partially because I don't really want to see the Priest McIntyre feud continuing. Like it almost seems like it's going to now. I thought that Drew winning at Mania was a nice way to close that feud out. Um, one other comment on Jeff Cobb. I was doing some research this morning, and it seems like as of now, they're going to continue to use that name for him. He's not going to get some sort of goofy name change. Everything I've seen has had him referred to as Jeff Cobb, even the WWE releases.
Yeah, I think that that's important. And I did call it the other day when we did our SmackDown review because it made sense. That's why they gave LA Knight the pinfall victory over Solo, right? Because he
Yeah,
was going to take the pin, and I should have known that when we did our predictions, but
exactly.
it
But
is what it is.
we did our predictions before the SmackDown
That's
pay-per-view.
true. That's true. But yeah, I mean overall this match was excellent. It was hard hitting. Obviously Jacob retaining was what was going to happen. It was too early to take that off of him. And it seems like we're very much building a rift between him and Solo because he didn't seem like he knew that Jeff Cobb was going to be there and he seemed confused and kind of pissed about it like after
Yeah,
he left, right? Because he kind of like went off by himself and was like, I didn't know that this was going to happen. So it should be very interesting to see SmackDown this week when they obviously will have a segment, right? And we'll kind of see like what Jacob has to say to Solo.
if you get a chance, check out his post-match interviews, like during the press conference,
Mm-hmm.
and just the way he comes across when they ask him about it.
Yeah, I'll have to take a look at that. I didn't see like what did he say?
He basically says that he's not allowed to talk about it, but the way he talks, saying that, you could tell that A, he's not happy, and B, it seems like he didn't know that this was coming. Because I mean, his whole big thing over these last couple of weeks with Solo is he doesn't want the Bloodlines' help. I mean, he's all brakes and no gas. So
All
they
gas, no brakes, right?
I know I did that purposely. Um, they they're trying to have him go this route of I don't need help. I can do all this myself because I'm that good. So they're definitely going to use that, I think, as their story going forward is why does Solo keep interfering with his things?
Yeah, I completely agree. So this led us into the next match, which was Becky Lynch versus the Intercontinental Champion Lyra Valkyria, and this match went for almost 20 minutes, and it was awesome. And the crowd was hot behind Lyra, and I'm glad that Lyra won. I really am.
Okay.
I think that, after as the match was going on, I kind of think it was the right move. And I really, obviously the feud is not done with the way the match ended, and I'll let you talk about that. But I mean, Lyra looked like $1 million. She held her own against, one of the biggest stars in the women's division. I was going to say one of the best wrestlers, but that's probably not accurate, but definitely one of the biggest stars in the women's division. And she looked great. And I think it did what it needed to do, which was make that title feel more important.
I agree. I mean, I know both you and I picked Becky to win because we thought putting the title on her would bring more prestige to it.
Hmm.
And I think I kind of like this because if they're going to go the route on SmackDown of having a big name star take the belt, I think they don't need it on this one. And I think honestly that giving the big win here to Lyra does kind of add that prestige to it. It gives her the credit of having beat a star as big as Becky Lynch with to her accolades. Sorry, I forgot the word there.
Yeah.
I mean, I wasn't a super big fan of the ending, but I get where they did it with the out of nowhere basic like surprise ending.
Hmm.
And then Becky attacking her afterwards for a little while.
Hmm.
Um, so, like you said, obviously this is a going to be continuing, and I wouldn't be surprised if Becky did end up still getting the belt off of her at some point.
Hmm.
But another month of Lyra with the belt to her reign here is pretty good for what I mean. She's held it since when? Like January?
She's the initial champion. So like, I forget whenever it was debuted, yeah,
Yeah.
she's the one who held it.
So,
But I mean, yeah.
so to have your first belt holder with it, hold it for a pretty significant amount of time for the record books isn't bad. So even if Becky ends up taking the belt off of her at Money at the Bank, because I doubt they do anything for it for Saturday Night Main Event, they'll probably do the other women's title for that one. I think that's still a pretty damn good reign for Lyra.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I mean, like this match had everything. I mean, Becky tried every underhanded tactic in the book. I mean,
Yep.
she tried to get a steel chair in there at one point. She tried to expose the turnbuckle. She hit her with, I think, 3 or 4 manhandle slams. But I mean,
Yep.
Lyra did catch that roll up there, like right towards the end to get her. Most devastating move in all of sports entertainment.
Really is. It's just like the RKO. It's out of nowhere.
So then we had our third match of the evening, the dirty one, Dominic Mysterio versus Penta El Zero. This match, you know what? I'll let you take this match because you were on the interference train, and boy, oh boy, did this match have interference.
So I actually was watching this match while I was out playing cards with a couple of our subscribers, and it was the first time one of our subscribers, Chris, had ever seen Dominic Mysterio. He got such a kick out of what a dirtbag he looks like, for not being really a wrestling watcher, and it was pretty entertaining. I loved this match. I love everything Dominic Mysterio does, and his inevitable face turn that's coming, I think, is going to be fantastic. Because how do you not? I mean, yeah, he still uses underhanded tactics and all that, most likely because he's part of the Judgment Day still.
Mhm.
But with the way the crowd has been reacting to him, how do you not turn him face? Like the crowd has absolutely loved him, and
Which is crazy because he
yeah,
was like so being so booed
yep.
before. And
Oh
it's
yeah,
just
he couldn't even get a
wild.
word out before. Like
Yeah,
he would try to talk and you couldn't hear him.
it's just
Um,
wild.
I love that he hit Oblivion on Penta. I thought that was hysterical. And I don't know, what can I say about Penta? Like he is, it was such a fumble by AEW to let the Lucha Brothers go. Like they're two of the best luchadors in the game, and Penta showed that in this match. It was absolutely incredible. And of course, there was a whole bunch of Judgment Day interference because that's to be expected with that group. They're almost as bad as the Bloodline was. And then, of course, the final end was interference by the greatest luchador in the history of lucha, one Grande Americano, and I absolutely loved it.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like that's the direction they're gonna go, right? Like we're gonna have at some point we're gonna have all the luchas, kind of standing in a row, right? Like because El Grande seems to be involving himself, or Chad Gable, excuse me, seems to be, involving himself with Ray Phoenix as well over on SmackDown. So, I don't know if this is like to what Reese has been saying the last couple of times, if this is how they bring everybody together. But getting back to this match was kind of everything you expected it to be. All the interference spots. Penta looked like $1 million when he hit that. Um, what's the name of that move? The one where he like flipped him over on the apron. God, what is that move called?
Was it a Poison Rana? I don't remember.
It might have been. He hit him with that like right outside of the apron, and that looked awesome. And Dominic just doing all of his highlights. Attempted to get the three amigos off. He attempted to do the 619. Dominic's splash, I got to tell you, looks real good too. Like
Okay.
I really think that Dominic does a good job, like in the ring
I mean,
for what he's supposed to do. I think he looks great.
he
Um,
did learn the frog splash from his real dad. So
rest in peace, Eddie. Um, so yeah, I mean, and obviously Dominic retaining, it's just too early again to take the title off of Dominic, I think. But overall this match was excellent as well. They did a great job with this match.
real quick point too. I don't remember if I'm recalling this correctly or if I saw it right. But at one point when they were trying to interfere, did it look like Finn was trying to hit Dominic with a chair?
Initially, I thought that too, but it seemed like, and maybe that's the story they're gonna eventually go with that route because that whole sequence was kind of like, Carlito came down first, and then like JD like went to like kind of he had Penta, and they were gonna kind of like hit him, and then Finn was like, oh wait, I'm gonna go and get the chair, and then it almost seemed like Finn was like purposely delaying, you know what I mean? Giving Penta time to like kind of get away, and that's when El Grande kind of got involved as well when the ref. Because the ref came over and saw all of that, like while Finn was like just about back with the chair. So like I don't really know, but it almost seemed like Finn was like delaying on purpose a little bit. So
Yeah, I thought that's what I saw.
yeah, I don't know, but yeah, we're definitely going to continue that feud with El Grande Americano and Penta and Ray and whomever else, Ray Mysterio too. I mean, I guess at some point, right? Like it's going to be, I don't know,
Yeah, well,
be
I don't
interesting to
know if
see how they
we'll
do all that.
I don't know if we'll see it with Rey Mysterio considering his injury. Do you know what his injury is?
Mm-mm.
I had to look this up. He has a torn abductor muscle.
Yeesh.
And that's not something I've ever heard of. So I researched it, and it's the muscle that like holds your leg to your hip.
Oh God.
It sounds like a horrific injury, and at his age, I don't know how well he's gonna be able to come back from something like that. So we may
Yeah.
have seen the end of Rey Mysterio.
Yeah, that's rough.
Yeah,
Rough. Um, well, get well soon, Ray. I hope that I hope things, turn out for the best for him because he's one of the best to ever do it.
yeah,
Um, this led us into the fourth match of Gunther versus Pat McAfee. This match was pretty much everything everyone kind of expected it to be. I mean, Pat McAfee got a little bit of offense in here and there, and almost got a surprise roll up for the win when Michael Cole was attempting to hold Gunther's feet. And Michael Cole made it very clear whose side he was on here for obvious reasons. And Michael Cole did help to, try to interfere a little bit in the match and almost ate a power bomb from Gunther, but did escape when McAfee kind of booted him in the face. But overall, this match was everything it was supposed to be.
yep,
Gunther pretty much destroyed McAfee throughout, blasted him with a bunch of chops where he went like right down and no sold a ton of McAfee's offense. And I was surprised Goldberg didn't come out here. I really was because it really seemed like they were teasing it like pretty hard, like something was going to happen. But I just hope that this is the end of this. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
this needs to be over. We don't need another segment of like we don't need another match between these two guys. And I was like really kind of surprised that McAfee was like, you know, still standing when the
yep.
match was over. Like I don't know where we're going with this.
So I feel like this has got to be a one-off here. I 100% agree with you that that this would have been the perfect time for Goldberg to come out, and it really was surprising that they didn't have McAfee just get absolutely murdered here. And the other surprise was Gunther sort of offering him his like respect there after the match. Like I didn't really expect that, where he sort of gave him his flowers there for being
Yeah,
able to
a little bit. Yeah.
not a lot, but for coming from Gunther towards McAfee, that
Yeah.
surprised me because they were pretty nasty to each other.
Yeah.
And you're right, he was no selling a lot of what McAfee did, which makes sense. But I will give him credit. Once McAfee started landing his big kicks in on him, he sold the hell out of those.
I mean, Gunther's fantastic. That's no surprise. Gunther's
Yeah.
one of the best wrestlers WWE has. Like he's incredible.
Where do we see him going from here, from this?
No idea.
Right?
I have no idea what they're going to do with him. Like, I
I'm
mean,
just worried that they're not going to have anything for him and he's sort of going to fall off.
I honestly think he kind of needs to go to SmackDown.
Yeah, T was saying that, and I think I agree.
Like, I mean, there's a lot of fresh feuds there for him on SmackDown, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want
Give
to put
him,
him I don't want to put him with any of the new guys because I don't want the new guys to lose, but I also don't really want him to lose either. He's like one of these guys that they have on the roster where it's kind of like Cody, except he's obviously a heel. It's got to be like a big deal when he loses. You
yep,
know, like you have to build up Gunther, and it's got to be like a big deal when Gunther loses. And I think they've done that so far, right? Like, both of the matches that Gunther has lost in the last 2 years has only been at WrestleMania. You know,
yeah,
so like that's huge, and I think you got to kind of continue with that, right?
100% agree.
So this took us to the main event. As we mentioned at the top of the show, John Cena versus Randy Orton one final time, and they obviously built this up throughout the entire night. So the story of this match initially was the beginning of it, the first 10 or 15 minutes or so, because this match had like 45 minutes almost.
What surprised me.
But the first 10 or 15 minutes of this match was really slow and a lot of rest holds. Like there was one point in time Randy Orton had Cena in like a 30-second rest hold. And like it was just they were trading those kind of back and forth. And then once the match kind of got into the second gear, um, they started spamming finishers like left and right. And one of them was particularly cool where Cena went to get
Yep.
Orton into an AA and Orton like reversed it into an RKO and they both went down. That was
Yeah,
pretty
that was
awesome.
awesome.
But as the match kind of kicked into its next gear, both of them hit numerous, like they were just spamming finishers left and right. Orton hit a couple of AAs on Cena, numerous RKOs, and then obviously there was the obligatory ref bump, a couple of them actually throughout this match. When they were out on the outside, Orton attempted to AA Cena through the announcer table, which didn't break, and it looked like Cena kind of landed weird a little bit there. And then he went to go and kind of take Cena or take Orton out, but he ended up slamming the ref into the steel steps. And then there was Orton at that point in time went to set up a table and then put Cena through the table on the other side of the ring, and then eventually got him back in. And then another ref came down to kind of try and count the pin when that ref was taken out by Cena with the obligatory title shot, which led to all of the management coming down, including Nick Aldis, and this caused Randy Orton to go into an RKO fest, just RKOing everybody. And then at that point, it kind of led to the final sequence where R-Truth came down, and we'll talk about that. But R-Truth came down, kind of trying to convince Randy Orton to stop, and he ate an RKO, rolled out of the ring, and then Randy was like yelling at him, like on the outside of the ring while he was holding the ring apron or the ring rope. And then he ate a nut punch from Cena, and then a blast to the head with the title, and then the other original ref rolled back in to count the victory for John Cena, and that's how the show went off the air. So why don't you just give me your thoughts, like initially, and then we'll talk about it.
So we all should have seen the R-Truth thing coming, especially after they showed the backstage segment with him with his Cena doesn't suck sign or whatever the hell it said. And trying to convince people that Cena wasn't bad. And it should have been a clue that he was going to show up. I just, is this going to be the story of Cena's title reign? That every match is going to have a different person interfere and then a nut shot and a title shot? Because this match, the match itself, once it got going, was impressive.
Yeah, it
Like
really was.
I can say you and I were talking about it before the show here that the actual match itself was better than the WrestleMania match. And
Oh, absolutely.
it's almost like you can see Cena finding his footing again, being in the ring.
So do you
Um,
think that, or do you think it's because of the opponent?
I
Because
think Orton does have something to do with it,
he's
yeah.
got the chemistry with Randy Orton, but also Randy Orton wrestles a really slow style, and so
That
does John Cena. Like, and I think it's very different than, like, if you were to put, like, as an example, right? If you were to put John Cena against like Ray Phoenix, that would look awful.
yeah,
That would look awful, right? But like assuming like we've got CM Punk gonna be on Raw on Monday, right? And he's gonna make an announcement. And he did post something on Instagram, like making fun of Cena.
did
So
he?
yeah, so it should be I think that's what we're gonna get at Money in the Bank. Like
That makes sense.
I think they're gonna pivot, and I think that's where we're gonna go. And I can't wait for the next 6 weeks of wrestling promos. I think it's gonna be
Oh,
awesome.
yeah.
But and I think you could say the same thing about Cena and Punk, like a slow, methodical,
Yeah.
like, and I think it'll be awesome, right? I think it's like that's like the perfect match. Cody's a bit different, although Cody is up there in age. He's like 37, 38, but Cody wrestles a much more fast-paced, technical kind of wrestler, right? And like I don't think that meshes with Cena's kind of slow power style.
Yeah. No, you're 100% right that the person who's in the ring with him will cater to his style.
Hmm.
But if you watch, Cena looked a little bit more smooth this time than he did in the Mania match, is more my point, I think. Because
Yeah.
you could definitely tell in the Mania match and leading up to it that he hadn't been in the ring for a while.
Mhm.
I think that, like I said, this match showed that he's in a little bit better ring shape now. I mean, he'll never be the Cena of old,
No.
and you won't see him doing what he used to, but he definitely impressed me more. And other than the R-Truth ending, and I mean, you did tell me that they sort of tried to pivot and fix it by having him attack R-Truth afterwards. Other than the ending, I enjoyed this match,
Yeah.
and I just really hope that we don't see this every single PLE. Like when he faces Punk at Money at the Bank. I want Cena to win. I mean, I don't care. You know what? If he wants to throw a title shot in there somewhere, whatever. But I don't want the interference. I don't want the nut shot. I want him to win either clean or win with the title shot, and then do a callback to Punk leaving and jump out and run away.
Yeah, I mean, to give the quick story. So at the press conference that they do after every one of the shows, Triple H was sitting there, starting to speak. Cena came and whispered something in his ear, and then Cena obviously sat down, and he was, he kind of tried initially to like almost apologize to the press, if you will. And then we heard R-Truth kind of talking in the background, and R-Truth came out, and you almost like it is with everybody when they interact with R-Truth, it almost seemed like Cena was going to break character for a second
Yeah,
there because like he was like really trying hard not to laugh, like you could tell on his face. But then R-Truth said something about, like, oh, and I always knew that, like, they don't care what they say about you not being able to wrestle or something like that. And that's when Cena kind of like flipped the switch and was like, this was your one free pass. Don't you open your mouth to me again. And then R-Truth went to say something again, and he AA'd him through the table at the press conference and then just got up and walked away. So I don't, obviously, R-Truth, we're not gonna waste Cena's retirement with a match with him and R-Truth, but we may get a segment on TV between the two of them. I think we should. I think
yeah,
given the way that pay-per-view ended, or premium live event, given the way that premium live event ended, we at least deserve a segment on TV. I think.
yeah.
I think R-Truth is owed a segment on TV. Absolutely
And
not. Like absolutely not a match. I think that the fans would like it, but then they'd be pretty pissed pretty quickly. I think if you did like instead of the countless other people you could do a match with, if you do one with R-Truth, I think that would piss a lot of people off.
I mean, I love R-Truth, and I think
Oh, I do too. National
the
treasure.
world's the world's greatest 24/7 7-Eleven champion of all time is probably one of
European
the most
South and
he,
Kentucky TV
he
champion.
he is probably one of the most decorated former title holders in the history of WWE.
Mhm.
And I think that I would be happy with a segment where he goes and tries to talk to Cena, and Cena just beats the hell out of him again. I'd be fine with that. And maybe that's your segment where he beats the hell out of him, and Punk comes out to save him.
Yeah, maybe.
But like I said, he other than the way the match ended, I mean, we got our obligatory 7 ref bumps. We saw all of them coming because they were the most set up ref bumps in like the history of the world.
They really were.
Um, but
There were three.
Orton looked incredible.
It
I
really
just
does.
watching the intro, the vignette beforehand, and seeing young Orton versus now, he is such a monster now.
It is Orton seems like timeless to me, and I know he's in his
Yep.
mid 40s now, but like he looks as good as he ever did. And like I mean, I know WWE is real strict about their like right now they're real strict about their, their doping stuff with
PEDs.
with PEDs and everything. And Orton looks like $1 million. Like
Yeah,
he really like he's huge.
he looked bigger than Cena.
Yeah. It's Cena, you can tell Cena looks smaller than he
Yeah,
did like
because of the acting.
in his heyday, but like um I like I'm like I'm struggling to think of a guy on the roster who looks more jacked than Randy Orton. Maybe Drew McIntyre.
Yep, that's who I'd go with.
Like
Is Drew.
other than Drew McIntyre, I don't think that there is a guy on the roster who is more jacked than Randy Orton.
As far as size and muscle, yes. I mean, if you're small, you do have some smaller guys like Austin Theory's incredibly ripped,
Oh, and
but
Finn Balor too. But
they're
I
not.
mean,
They
yeah,
have the size.
yeah. I mean, the only other guy in WWE previously in WWE who even compared was Bobby Lashley.
Yeah, and even then, Lashley was just a monster.
Lashley's a monster.
But
I love
what
Bobby Lashley.
I think is hysterical is you had Cena leave and go and start doing movies and everything, and he got significantly smaller.
Mhm.
But then compare that to Dwayne, who left to go do movies and got like 4 times bigger.
Well, it's because Dwayne's not natural.
Yeah, but
Roast me, internet. Go ahead, roast me.
How can
Dwayne,
you be roasted though? It's a like just look at him.
yeah.
Compare Dwayne, and you know where it came from is when he did that Pain and Gain movie with Wahlberg and Anthony
Oh yeah.
Mackie.
Yep, yep,
That
yep.
is where he all of a sudden got to
Huge.
this size.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
and he's been big in every movie ever since. Like he's
yep,
been just a ginormous.
and I mean we know he works out because he posts his videos and everything, but unless he's working out 24/7, you're not that big, especially at his age.
No, he's over 50.
Yeah,
Like you don't you the human body is not capable of that. I don't care how much you work out. Like without help, you're not you don't grow at that age. At
exactly.
like that. You don't without help. Which is very like I mean concerning because like if he keeps going like that, he's gonna have a heart attack in like the next
Oh,
10
for
years.
sure.
And
Yep.
like, um, but I mean, we digress. So overall, good show.
Yep.
Like I know we're gonna do a full analysis on the rest of John Cena's year in the next couple of weeks here. But I think where do you think they go from here with
I
Cena?
think I agree with you for Punk for Money at the Bank, and I think it makes the most sense. They just need to figure out how to pivot away from Punk and Rollins.
Mhm.
But I'm sure they could have like if Cena comes out and interrupts him or something along those lines. I think there's that, and then I think you Cody is advertised for Friday, but I have a feeling somebody's going to interrupt him to take him away from feuding with Cena right away. Um,
Temporarily. Yeah.
and I think maybe SummerSlam you see Cody Cena. If not SummerSlam, I bet it gets dragged out until like October, November, till the very end.
And I feel like it has to be, right? Because I feel like I still think if you asked who my top three guys were to take the belt off of John Cena right now, it's still Cody number one. It's CM Punk number two. And honestly, it's this is gonna sound like completely out of left field, but it's probably Braun Breaker at number three.
Yeah, but are they going to take Breaker off of what he's doing to
No, but like
SmackDown?
but if you tell the story right, you can move him over. You can move both of them over and have them like have Seth Rollins just be like, look, this is my guy, he's gonna come kill you. And like
Or
if you told that story right, it could be believable that they could pull the trigger on Breaker like that.
Or they could do a bloodline-esque story where they are on both shows.
Yeah.
Seth wins the one title
Yep.
and Breaker wins the other, and you
Yep.
have their faction with both titles.
Yep. But it still seems like it's most likely Cody or Punk.
Yeah,
Nobody else makes sense right now.
100% agree with that.
I mean, I would have said Orton if they did this feud like 6 months from now.
Even if they did this feud for SummerSlam,
Mm-hmm.
like it would have been more believable that Orton had the chance. I get why they did it because they were in Orton's hometown, and holy shit, the crowd for Orton was
Yeah.
amazing. Singing his song, just the reactions, absolutely great.
Yeah. No, I agree with you though. Overall, good, very good show. Very
I
good.
can give it a 4.
Yeah, I was gonna say the same thing. Like in around for the in ring work alone was fantastic. I mean, we didn't really conclude many stories but I guess we'll kind of see. It seems like every single story is gonna continue in like one direction or another here, but I guess we'll kind of see where everything sort of plays itself out. So, guys, that was Backlash. Let us know what you guys thought in the comments down below. If you like the show, if you dislike the show, and as always, let us know your feedback. If you guys like this content, if you like what we've been talking about lately, hit us up with your comments, hit us up with a like and a sub. We really appreciate it. We got a lot of good content coming out for you guys this week. The NFL schedule is going to drop this week, so we're going to have some content on that. So look forward to our videos coming up. And guys, as always, we really, really appreciate it. Thank you so much. I've been Mike with the 716 Sports Entertainment, joined by my co-host, Mr. Sean O'Neill. And guys, have a great evening. Have a great Mother's Day to everyone out there, and
Happy
take
Mother's
care.
Day.